Let's admit it, investing isn't always easy, and sometimes you just want to make more money without any money. So stay to the end for my very top strategies for increasing income without investing a penny. And by the way, some of my favorite ones, the best one that worked for me is the very last one. So be sure to stick around to the end. All right, so what can you do to invest to make that infinite rate of return, to make money without any money? First one is increase your income at work. Start where it's easy, right? Start with the resources you already have. If you're working a job or you're working in a business, this strategy still applies, is find ways to increase your income there. Now, if you work for an employer, I'm not saying go into your boss, say, I demand a raise, I'm entitled to it. Don't do that. That is the first thing. Being someone who owns a company myself, that is the first way to say, I don't want you here anymore, right? That's toxic. Entitlement mentality does not work in this generation or any generation for that matter. And so the best ways to increase income at work is the ones that worked for my clients, the ideas that we gave them there. Number one is remember this. If you remember nothing else, remember this one thing, is that dollars follow value. Dollars follow the value that you're able to provide, either that you're provided or you're promised to provide for other people. It's the best way of how you can serve people, how you can solve problems or add value in any way. That income is just a natural byproduct. So stop asking, how do I make more money, Chris? Because that's a bad question. People have been asking that question for generations, yet they're still broke, right? Stop asking how you can make more money, right? Start asking how you can actually create more value. Or kind of like what John F. Kennedy said, right? Where he says, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country, right? How can you show up to serve, solve problems, and be really a provider, someone that can be a problem solver to be valuable. The more valuable you are at work, the more you can get paid. And even if that boss doesn't treat you right, and maybe they don't appreciate the work you have, I can guarantee, as a business owner myself, we would want to snag you. We would want to take you and be able to use your talents in our business, because that is hard to find, especially more and more. That's increasingly hard to find people that actually have good values, that want to work hard and make a company a lot of money. And that's how you do it. Give you an example. I have one of my friends, Brian. He actually was making $15 an hour at his company. Now, he wanted to make more, of course, because that's not a lot to live on. And he was trying to provide for a young family. Well, I just told him, I said, listen, go to your boss and ask them, what can I do to merit a raise? How can I add value to this company? And so they gave him 3 things that he can do. After a few months, he did them. He went in for a meeting with them, and they said, okay, Brian, you did what we asked. We'll give you that raise. But we're not planning on any more raises, just so you know. So that was it. A few months later, the boss walks by his office, looks in and says, how much do we pay you again? Now remember, Brian at this time didn't let up on the gas pedal. He still kept trying to provide more value at work, even when it wasn't promised to him. And so when he asked him, how much do you make? He told him, he said, we're giving you a raise. And so they did. And then about a year later, promotion opportunity came up. They gave it to Brian. And the next thing you know, he went from $15 an hour to $28 an hour in just a year and a half. Nearly doubled his income, all because he asked that one question of his boss, which is, how can I provide value to you? How can I help this company? How can I serve you guys? What problems can I solve for you? What value can I add to this company? Best way ever. You remember nothing else from this video, do that one thing. It's huge, and it's made me literally millions of dollars asking that question pretty much on a daily basis, including, how do I help you guys? That's why I'm doing this video, is I'm trying to provide value for you. And hey, I didn't even ask you for any money, did I? So, bing, bonus. All right, number 2 is you can freelance, right? You can have a side gig, in that sense, right? You can freelance, you be a contractor. Many times I'll get clients where they'll have another kind of consulting type of business. They'll do some extra freelance work on the side. There are lots of ways to do that. There are things like Upwork, where you can actually get paid per project or per hour and do things of that nature. So you can actually be able to deliver more value. It just may be to another company or to other people as well. So find ways. Maybe you can freelance. Maybe it's like what I did. I even did some ballroom dance instruction on the side. Believe it or not, I was actually one of the nation's top amateur ballroom dancers over 20 years ago, about 20 pounds ago. But I used to do that. I used to actually teach on the side. I would get paid in cash. I get paid under the table, doing, teaching, taking over one of the instructor's classes. They say, hey, here's 20 bucks. Thanks for teaching that 45-minute class. I'm like, I had fun. I got to dance. How cool, right? I would get paid. So there's lots of things you can do to help get extra income coming in. And that kind of ties in with my third idea, which is a side business, right? You can do a little freelance, right? Or you can actually have an actual side business. This could also be a consulting side business. This could be a side business where you do something completely separate. Maybe you love photography. Is there a way you can do something with photography? Maybe you do something with network marketing, or direct sales or something like that, or some sort of type affiliate that way. You can actually do side businesses that allows money to come in. And if it's a business, guess what? You get additional tax breaks, which allows you to be able to save money and save taxes on the money you've been earning at your job. So what happens now is that now you're able to take more paychecks home from your work and you get an extra income from your business too. It's amazing when you can have a business and get all those kind of write-offs, allowing you to keep more of your money. Side business can be a great way to do it. Now, I already mentioned increasing income at work, you can freelance, and you can also have a side business. Now, before I get to this fourth point, just want to remind you, if you haven't done so already, click like on this, subscribe to our channel, to get more of this stuff. And I would love to hear in the comments, what are some other questions that you have? What are some other things to say, you know what, I would love to see a video on this, Chris. Put that in the comments below right now. Okay, now the fourth one, and this is the one that actually really gave me my best side income. Now I've made money from things like real estate investing, which is, by the way, that does take money to make money usually, right? That's fine. You could do that as a side business where you could put in some sweat equity into real estate. That's great. But people are always saying, yeah, but how did you make money without money? How were you able to, the first time, especially in 2006, how were you able to become financially independent when you were just 28 years old and you didn't have a lot of cash? Well, it was actually kind of accidental. Yeah, I remember I was sitting down with one of my friends. He was a mentor to me. He was a millionaire. And he said, Chris, right now you quit being a financial advisor. You're now a mortgage broker. Do you like doing mortgages? Is that what you see you doing the rest of your life? And I said, no, I don't see that. He said, okay, well, do you like it? I said, well, I love teaching people about the mortgage process and how to be creative with it to get equity out of their home, invest it, and make more so they can pay their payment for them. But I don't like dealing with all the paperwork. I don't like the underwriting process. Well, Chris, why don't you find somebody who does like doing that? And it never dawned on me that I could actually get other people's help. I'd always thought I have to be the do-it-yourself or just do it myself. I get paid and that's it. Because that's what I did as a mortgage broker. I would do the whole process and get paid off of it. And I said, well, are there people that actually like doing paperwork? He said, Chris, there are plenty of nerds in the universe. You will find one. So I went to my broker and I said, who fits this description? And they said, talk to Clark. I went to Clark. I said, Clark, if I send people to you, they're already ready to do a mortgage. You don't have to sell them on it. But I want you to do all the paperwork and basically all the back end work. Would you split me 50-50 as a partner? He said, of course. Because Clark didn't want to go out there trying to find people. I was basically spoon feeding him. I was bringing people to him ready to do a mortgage, and all he had to do was do the paperwork. He loved it. He loved being behind the desk that way. Now, people always ask me questions. I would talk to them, teach them. They'd get excited. They would even send me other referrals, and I send them to Clark. They say, hey, Chris, how do we get this mortgage done? I'm like, talk to Clark. I did that over and over, and guess what? Next thing you know, I'm getting checks for $1,000, $2,000, and I spent maybe a half hour or an hour with these people. And that clicked the light bulb on me. I said, who else can I create value for? Who else can I create a win-win for by connecting them with people? So I started bringing a wholesale jeweler. I brought them in, and I would get paid 5%. I started referring to some of these other businesses as well, just the ones that I often were referring to anyways, just natural referrals, and they became referral partners. Some people refer to this as affiliate relationships, right? Affiliate commissions, and people will do that. I was just looking at this as hooking people up. Getting people referred to good quality people, good quality businesses. So I created a win-win-win transaction. It was a win for the business owner because I'm connecting them. It was a win for the customer because they were getting connected to something that was good. And it was a win for me because, hey, I got to be the middleman. I got to connect them and I got paid. And so guys, I actually created an income stream of over $5,000 a month just doing that alone. It was incredible. It was awesome. And it required literally just maybe a few hours a month of my time because it would just be somebody asking me, hey, Chris, who do you know that does blank? And I would be like, you should talk to so-and-so. If there's enough of those people, I would go to that business person. I would say, hey, I keep sending you referrals. Do you got a marketing kickback or a referral fee or anything like that? And if they could legally compensate me, I would get compensated. So there's so many creative ways you can do this. So like I said, it was a big one, and it's a one that you don't need any money for. You just need to have those connections, right? You need to find good quality people. So like I said, you can increase your income at work, you can freelance, you can have a side business, or you become a referral partner. Hey, if this video was great for you, check out the next one. What are the best forms of passive income?